Stop in today at Bill Bird Kia and let our team put you behind the wheel of your new Kia. Bill Bird Kia is now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $1,748 per month per $1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited, cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete detail. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/3/25.
With empty pockets and an entrepreneurial mindset, Nate Bombach and his family took a chance and moved to Panama City Beach to build their American dream. Now a dream come true, Marinate Construction and Stucco Repair offers Panama City a breath of fresh air with honest service matched with masterful skills in construction. From small repairs to large commercial jobs, Marinate Construction and Stucco gives every customer what they deserve, the best. Marinate Construction and Stucco Repair, 850-387-9851.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
Auburn basketball is chasing another SEC championship.
10 to shoot. Janai spins. Up with the left hand. Got it!
The Tigers open the month of madness at Kentucky.
Denver rises up for a three and bank it in! Up the right sideline for Pettiford. The hot stop and pop three. Buries it!
Coverage starts Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
PLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lumen. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Deep center field and heading for the horizon.
Sports Talk Radio will never be the same.
Onion pickles, onions, pickles.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Way back and gone.
On ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
What's going on, doggies? You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs in the Doghouse. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher, and you're tuned into 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida right here in Panama City, 101.9 ESPN Northwest Florida in Port St. Joe. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful Friday afternoon. I mean, the weather is absolutely magnificent outside right now, isn't it?
Can't go wrong there. Technically, what is this, like maybe like we were just talking right before the show came on, first week in the spring break, technically going into March. Can't drink on the sandy beach starting tomorrow, right?
Yep, so if you want to get it in tonight. I mean, you've got a good 2 hours until the sun sets. Get it in tonight. That way that you can avoid any and all tickets.
A good 8 hours till midnight, too, till it's technically illegal, right?
Well, there you go. But there's nothing, like once the sun goes down, then, I don't know. I've had a few beers down there back in the past when the sun has went down. But also during spring break, they'll be shutting down portions of the beach at night. So you're going to make sure that you want to avoid that. Not only will police be patrolling there, but they'll also be letting hotels know, like, hey, don't let, I guess, even the hotel residents at that point in time can't go down there. And it's just one of those things that have helped in the continuance of at least calming spring break down some and affording the opportunities for families to come down here and enjoy their time as well. And listen, myself, being here for 18, 20 years now, going back even further, just in visitation to my grandparents, there's been quite a few times where it's gotten a little rowdy out there, and so I understand when it first started happening. I was like, "What are you guys doing? This is you're crushing 2 months of my year right here." You're cramping our style, man. Yeah, and as I've gotten older, it's like, okay, yeah, I totally understand what you guys are doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah, but again, it's like the riffraff that comes down here, right? When they had like the flash mob over at Walmart. Who was it? One of our callers that has the the fishing tours. And remember, he was a pharmacist. If you are listening, call in too. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. And then you started the doing fishing guide, and he was a pharmacist. Are
you sure that was a caller, or was that a guest that we had?
I think he called in too, but I can't recall. So that's why I'm asking.
I thought it was a guest from.
We did have him come in though too, I believe, with Tim.
Yeah,
but I think he also called in a couple of times as well. But anyways, like, you know, he worked at the Walmart on the beach that had the flash mob and stuff like that. It's kind of what got him out of doing that kind of job and doing what he loves in the fishing, right? So, I mean, come down here, be respectful, be responsible, because, I mean, you're screwing it up for your fellow tourists, or Kyle Auburn likes to call Torons. Okay, and you're also messing up for us locals that live here that want to enjoy the beach and stuff too. So why do we got to suffer? Because y'all want to be a bunch of dopes.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first from Caveman Rick. Surprised
I'll call you out on it.
Baby or two along the way, but yeah, and even more so for the tourists and for the locals as well. We've got Top Golf just around the corner. We've got the Dolly Parton's Pirate Voyage coming out soon. So it looks kind of exciting. I don't know how excited I am for the Dolly Parton's Medieval Nights type ordeal, but for Top Golf, definitely excited. I know that I'll hit it once while it's open, and then for me, it's one of those things that whenever I'm on vacation and there's a city that has a Top Golf, I'm like, yeah, I'll go do it, but it's not something that I would. Oh, I'm so excited to go to Top Golf. Like, no, we have golf courses. I'd much rather touch some green grass out there. Bone Crusher, which one are you more excited about, Top Golf or Dolly Parton's Pirate Voyage?
Dolly Parton's Medieval Nights Pirate Voyage. Is it like one of those things where they joust and stuff and you eat chicken with your hands?
I think it's going to be ship jousting. Where two ships go against each other and they're jousting, or maybe they just play chicken.
How are you going to mix country western with pirates, man? I don't understand that.
See that?
I know, I don't know where where did that come from? You know what I mean?
From the chest.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, man. If she's going to do that, then do it the right way and do like a burlesque show or do something like that. If that's how you're going to, market yourself, you know what I'm saying?
That would work out great. Bone Crusher.
I'm bringing back Club La Vila and Spinnaker.
I mean, she needs to cover it up anyways. We did see her recently a couple years ago in that Dallas Cowboys outfit, and that was just kind of...
How long has it been since La Vila and Spinnaker have shut down?
At least 3 years, if not 4 or 5.
Gotta be more than that. It feels like it was
Hurricane
before
Michael.
the hurricane.
Yeah, before Hurricane Michael now. Because I remember when I lived at Lake Town work for a couple months, they had that fire. I think it was at La Vila, and it was already closed down at that point. And they had some small fire there or something. I remember seeing the smoke from my unit.
I remember when I was young. It's the off season in sports right now. We're going to get to them eventually, but right now we're just talking about the local happenings and the local
Jousting
has-beens.
is a sport.
Jousting is a sport. But I remember when I was younger and I would hear my cousins and just some of my cousin's friends talking about Club La Vila, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to go there one day. And I remember my first time going in there, I'm like, what? Like, this is what a club is all about? That was just never really my... I mean, I think I liked Spinnaker a little bit more because on Sunday they would have this thing called Bar Wars, which I'm sure that there's other companies who...
they had other locations. Like, they had one day a week there, but then another day of the week it'd be at this location, that location.
Which was fun, though, because everyone, would kind of represent the restaurant that they worked there for, or that they worked for in the hospitality industry, and I thought that was really cool.
And the bar tab.
You would win the bar tab at the end of the night, and I think that was worth it. But yeah, man, and then the concerts that they used to have on the beach as well was something that that's one thing that I do miss about it, because there dangerous situations that would happen. Yes, there was, man. I remember when I was at the Lil Wayne concert. I was in high school. I skipped baseball practice to go to Lil Wayne concert right there behind Club La Vila, and right next to me, I was standing right next to this condo. I was on the side of the stage, far back. I wasn't close, but right there next to the entrance where Wayne walked in, and probably about, I'll say 200 feet away from me, there was a fella, and I think that I've met the guy since this actually happened. I know his name, but I'm not going to share it here on the air, but he got stabbed with a beer bottle.
Nice.
No, not nice.
No, I'm just like nice being facetious, but like, man, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Billy Madison, or, not Billy Madison. It was,
What movie are we thinking?
I'm trying to think of Happy Gilmore, where he broke the bottle and he was looking for the rest of it when he was trying to get Shooter McGavin with the bottle. That's what it was.
Happy Gilmore 2 coming to us.
What's up with you, man? Like, you're at the right place at the right time. I mean, you were just 5 cars down when Dak Prescott got his tail whooped over here on Panama City Beach. So Dak, if you're listening, you should probably stay away from Panama City. We got a lot of Dallas Cowboy haters around here, including myself.
I'll tell you what, one night we were, and this is why I know, I mean, bro, I saw so many fights, so many things that, like, now when I look back on, I'm like, ooh, maybe I should have stopped walking at that point in time. But there was one time where there was a group of probably 12 of us. We were walking down Front Beach. Or no, I think it was Thomas Drive. It was like right over there by the boardwalk. And then next thing you know, one of the guys from the back of our group got grabbed by a whole nother group and just got jumped. And we didn't even know it until, like, we're all walking. What's his name at? Where's
Dak?
Yeah, basically, Dak did get jumped. And I didn't know it was Dak Prescott, though, when this was all going on. I didn't know until like a day later or later on that day. And they're playing the news and they're showing the video clip, or I saw the video clip on social media.
And of course, he was with Mississippi State then. He wasn't a Dallas Cowboy at that time.
Which still, though, I mean, it's a D1
he was
prospect at that point in time.
Player.
Yeah. That was absolutely wild. There's a whole bunch of other wild stories we could share about spring break, but that's what we're going to leave it up to you for, guys. Callers, 850-205-6290. Tell us some of your wild spring break stories. It is almost college basketball March Madness, getting ready for all the excitement. It's almost bracket challenge time, so tune in to the Afternoon Underdogs this coming Monday for more details. Me and Bone Crusher whipping everything up, getting you guys ready for March Madness and the bracket challenge. We'll have all the games right here on the official radio station on the Gulf Coast for March Madness, ESPN Northwest.
Yeah, it also means some of those Fridays we won't be in here doing this because obviously there'll be some games being played.
Yeah, and we play every single. So the way that it works, especially in the first and the second rounds, is they have games that are the prime game, but obviously, the marquee game, if you will, but they're bouncing back and forth between the highest points of action going on. And Westwood One does a great job with their coverage. And as we whittle on down to the third and fourth round, Sweet 16, Elite Eights, and Final Four, then we'll have every single full coverage of every game. So make sure that you're tuned in Monday for more details for the bracket challenge. Right State Chris says he's seen a dude get stabbed in the chest in Bell Fountain, Ohio. Well, we're not talking about Ohio right now. We're talking about Panama City Beach.
In Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's Cincinnati. They're just like, well, Cleveland, the Browns are
That'd be
trash.
Like our buddy
the Bengals try.
Hey, over in Chicago, like, dude, that's par for the course, right?
Well, it would depend. Are we talking South Side or are we talking North Side? As we get a little bit more serious here, again, we will take your fun stories from Panama City Beach spring break times, or anything that you want to share. Honestly, you can call. The phone line is wide open. And even if we have someone on the line, you can call in. Hugh Freeze, Jamie Hell, which is Coach James Hell's daughter. She works up there for a local news, I believe ABC 3340 in Alabama. She shared this on her Facebook, and I just wanted to kind of share with you guys, being that we are an Auburn affiliate. Recently, Coach Hugh Freeze was diagnosed with an early form of prostate cancer. Thankfully, it was detected early, and his doctors have advised that it is very treatable and curable. He will continue his normal coaching duties and responsibilities, and with forthcoming proper treatment, is expected to make a full recovery. Coach Freeze is incredibly appreciative of our medical professionals and has asked that we use his experience as a reminder of the importance of prioritizing and scheduling annual health screenings. So thoughts and prayers there with the Freeze family. Doesn't look like it's going to affect his coaching ability, his job that he does right now with the Auburn Tigers, and grateful to the Auburn medical staff for being able to get that found and kind of have a plan of action quick, fast, and
I
in a
actually
hurry.
know somebody who has a relative involved with that medical staff, so I might have to ask some questions about that this weekend and see what I can find out.
What kind of
Some
questions?
health records on Coach.
No, I'm just saying, like, if anybody that she knows was like affiliated with, finding out or, having any kind of, Anything that having to do with it, you know what I mean? Just get the little.
What do you think it was that caused this?
No, I'm not saying that, but like, if they just, were one of the people that was involved with diagnosing it or treating it or just doing anything, just kind of curious.
There's two basic ways they do for prostate screening for cancer is the digital exam where they give you the prostate check. Up the
okay.
Sounds like John's been there.
There's fingers being used behind the glass right now. So
digits.
That's the medical term. And there's also a PSA test, which is a blood test, and they just check your levels. And so make sure you just get your PSA test with your primary doctor. They'll send you to the lab, and then you have a base. You know what your PSA score is. And that way, if it ever elevates,
or like that commercial where you can just like with the box, you can go in the box and you can mail the box off.
That's for colorectal cancer.
Okay. I thought it was also for that as well.
I'm at the age where I know.
I got you.
Why not just skip the whole digital exam and just go straight to the PSA? Doesn't that seem like easier?
Less invasive?
Well, if you show up,
I'd rather get stuck with a needle.
Presenting symptoms, they're going to check that. The PSA is more of a kind of a do it every year too kind of thing.
I'm just saying I'd rather get stuck with a needle than a finger.
I guess it depends on the thickness of the needle, even though I've never seen a needle thicker than a finger.
I don't know, like a finger. You think about look at your pinky and how big around it is. I'm sure there's like syringes that big. I've never seen one, and I was in EMS before, so I mean, like that's got to be a pretty rare kind of a deal.
All right, we'll be talking with. I think Jay Henley is going to be lining up for one of those shortly as well. So, maybe my PSA score is kind of high since we read PSAs on here. Kind of
public
on the regular
service announcement about PSA.
Yeah.
A PSA about PSA.
Exactly. Man, we are getting so close to baseball season. We are your official station for the Atlanta Braves right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We will have 90% of the games right here on the air. The only time that we won't be airing the Atlanta Braves is
when they're playing the Phillies. No,
not when they're playing the Phillies. Is if one of the shows kind of interferes with like your Wednesday games where they're getting ready to travel. So they play early, and so that'll be in the time slot of the Inside Drive or the Afternoon Underdogs. And then there's other times when we get into decision-making time when college football season and the NFL season is upon us. But, we are here for you. So if you guys would rather be hearing Braves games, the majority of you would rather be hearing Braves games than college football games, we'll have to adjust to do what is best for the
Braves are doing.
I think it depends on what the owner says we're going to do, and that is the direction that we're going to go as always. But the listeners can influence that. King Cullen texting in says Dak Prescott needs to get beat up again.
I agree.
He just got beat up last year. The guy didn't even finish out the season. My goodness gracious.
But
would Dak Prescott be as hated if he wasn't the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys?
Probably not.
Do you hate Tony Romo now as much as you did when he was the quarterback for the Cowboys?
Sure. Just like I hate Troy Aikman.
Okay. So you have two broadcasters that it almost hurts your ears to listen to.
I don't want to listen to either one of them. I'll be honest with you. They're Cowboys. And like every time they have an opportunity, I'm sure guys like Tony Romo and Troy Aikman are still on the Dallas Cowboy payroll. I'm sure Jerry Jones still stuffs their pockets with cash so as to, whenever it's convenient, they can bring up the Dallas Cowboys, because Jerry Jones, no matter good, bad, or indifferent, if you can bring up the Dallas Cowboys, he loves that kind of stuff because it's getting free publicity for his team one way or another, right? So I can see where it'd be beneficial in his, sense to do that kind of thing. But at the same time, you're supposed to be impartial, right? As being a football broadcaster like that. So you shouldn't go that route. But even like Moose Johnston, who also calls games, I've seen him at times too, whenever it's convenient or somehow he can bring a certain play or anything going on and circumvent it back to a Dallas Cowboys story or bring them up, he'll do that as well. So I can kind of see that with some other, players from other teams, but when you see that prevalence with that many people that are in broadcasting, to me, it's kind of sickening.
Well, and then not only that, you hate Tom Brady as well.
Yes, sir.
So all of the top broadcasting teams in the NFL.
Who's saying that Tom Brady's a top broadcaster? He's done it for one season.
I don't think he was that good. We're not talking about opinion right now. Who is Fox's number one team? Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. That, regardless of what you think, they put them on the top game. Who's calling the Super Bowl this last year?
Those two guys.
Because they are the top team.
Because it's Tom Brady, because it's a name.
I'm not
It doesn't mean you're good at your
into
craft. You can put a name tag on a cat and you can say it's the President of the United States. It doesn't mean it's going to do anything worthwhile for the United States, okay? Putting a name tag on something's garbage.
We're not talking about who your favorite broadcaster is, who my favorite. I'm not sitting here saying Tom Brady is the best broadcaster.
Well, then there you go. He's not the best.
What I'm saying is that he is. It's not that. Number one doesn't always mean best. Is your leadoff hitter your best hitter? Now we're starting to move that way in Major League Baseball, but is your leadoff hitter primarily in the past?
No, it's not your
number
4.
Best hitter. No, exactly.
But that's because of strategy with having guys on base.
All right. Anyways, all I was saying, and maybe I did it on purpose to infuriate you, is the fact that Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt are Fox's number 1 team. CBS is Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, and ESPN's is
when you
Joe
get into
Buck
extra
and
innings
Troy
in
Aikman.
baseball and you have the Manfred man on base, you want your best hitter probably batting first because you already have a guy in scoring position. So you already have an opportunity to score runs.
Rice State Chris says, Dave has a valid point, even though I'm not trying to make a point at it's not even an argument that we can have, right? It's the fact that, because I'm with you in the sense of, if we're saying Greg Olson was I think a lot of us really enjoyed Greg Olson on the broadcast. None of the guys that I just mentioned, I mean, Jim Nantz is a Hall of Famer, a classic, but I wouldn't say that he's my favorite broadcaster. You know what I mean? But that is purely subjective. We know that when Fox has their game of the week, and that's at 3:25 our time here in the Central Standard Time Zone, that it's going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady.
But Nantz is also the play-by-play guy, not the color guy. And Tom Brady, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman, all these guys we're talking about, they were all the color guys.
Yeah, 100%. But we're talking about the number 1 team, not. And
I would say Kevin Burkhardt is a good play caller. I would say Tom Brady is a bad color guy.
Okay, but hold on. Now you're just drinking purely haterade if you don't think that Tom Brady got better as the year went on.
I mean, if you get anybody, chance after chance after chance, if you're not getting somewhat better, a little bit in your craft after doing it a number of times, then there really is something wrong there. Still, at the end of the season, I don't think he was that great, my opinion. And it's not because I'm a hater of Tom Brady. It's just facts. The guy's not that good. Now, over time, he may progress.
I don't think he'll do it that long. I don't think he'll do it that long.
He probably won't, because he's an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and he shouldn't be doing that if he's an owner. It's a conflict of interest right there. They should, give him the axe right now, give him the hook, and tell him you can't do it no more. Yeah. You got to pick either be an owner or be the color guy. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, another guy that I'm surprised, this is totally off base from the NFL, but in college football, when ESPN let RG3 go, I thought RG3 was not only just getting better, but really one of he's almost like Pat McAfee, but in the booth, right? Pat McAfee, if you listen to Night Calls on Netflix, he's listen to a show, the Pat McAfee Show live on ESPN. A great
he's
show.
He's just doing football, but then he gets on some of these tangents, and that's part of the reason why they let him go.
Oh, with RG3.
Yeah, RG3.
Right. No, 100%. But I think that's what people enjoy, the younger demographic. But that's, again, what these networks have to decipher is, where's our happy medium? Where do we get the most publicity, where positive and negative comments kind of merge together, rather than having total positive and no negative, or because that's never going to happen. You're never going to be able to have anyone in a public space and then not get anything criticized about them negative. Chef Ross says, I would pay to see Caveman have to watch a game called by Romo, Brady, and Aikman, just all three of them. How much would you pay on that? Because
you go to the sports bar or any other place like you normally watch it. You usually don't have sound, so it's on mute, and you just watch the game. I don't have to listen to those clowns.
Chef Ross, go in, edit your comment, and say, I would pay to see Caveman have to listen to a game called by Romo, Brady, and Aikman.
That's why we don't have... Morgan's not here. See, it's illegal stuff. It's all in the verbal, or in the how it's written. You know what I'm saying? One word changes the whole equation.
1,000% agree. Technically, are you the judge today, or would that be Bone Crusher being the judge since he's behind the glass?
I'm always the judge.
All right. Judge, jury, and executioner. Caveman Rick also can't leave out his favorite of all time being
thank you for adding the executioner, too,
Davis.
because I'd definitely like to execute some.
Oh, man. If Ruth was listening, she would have something to say. Ruth came in and voiced a great commercial for us this afternoon. afternoon. And coming up next, we've got Sam Peebles. He is the creator of the Braves Dugout Podcast. Great show lined up for you guys today, and you don't want to miss anything, including Sam Peebles' preview of the National League West Division. We'll be right back. Keep it locked in here to ESPN Northwest Florida.
Go home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's going to be a showdown. The number 1 ranked Auburn Tigers travel to Lexington to play the number 17 Kentucky Wildcats as two powerhouses collide.
Counted on the three.
Coverage starts at 11:30 Saturday on your home for the Auburn Tigers.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. The remainder of the day, sunshine and 69 with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. Tonight, a wind out of the west around 9 miles per hour and mostly clear skies with lows around 58. Tomorrow, sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Billburn Kia during the President's Day sale going on all month long. Are you looking for a fuel-efficient SUV that doesn't compromise on style, comfort, and performance? Stop in today at Billburn Kia and let our team put you behind the wheel of your new Kia. Billburn Kia is now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento. Billburn Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBurnKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $17.48 per month per $1,000 finance in 60 months. Qualities limited, cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete detail. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/3/25.
Auburn basketball is chasing another SEC championship.
10 to shoot. Janai spins. Up with the left hand. Got it!
The Tigers open the month of madness at Kentucky.
Denver rises up for a three and baked it in! Up the right sideline for Pettiford. The hot stop and pop three. Buries it!
Coverage starts Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
Hi, this is Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs. Listen for select Orlando Magic games right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to my boy David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs.
Appreciate you, Jalen, and we hope that you get well soon there for the Orlando Magic. This is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for select Orlando Magic games, and I believe we have a big one coming up this Sunday, and the Magic will be hosting the Toronto Raptors. We already told you about Auburn. They're in the commercial portion of this last segment, and we'll tell you more about that when we get back. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick and the Bone Crusher, and we are the Afternoon Underdogs. And now it's time to talk a little baseball, man. So excited that it is back, and we'll take your comments right now. What is a smell from the ballpark that you miss the most, or it makes you think of baseball, or you miss from the previous baseball season? When you go to the ballpark and the aromas are all around, is it the hot dogs? Is it the nachos? Is it the popcorn? You can't really smell the Cracker Jacks because they're all sealed up. Could be the spilled beer. What is it that reminds you of the ballpark? What about for you, Rick?
Probably spilled beer.
I
like the beer. I'm a beer guy, so I mean anything to do with beer, I guess.
What about for you, Bone Crusher?
Tailgating before the game and smelling the grill.
Yeah, I like that one. I think for me it's going to be the cheese from the nacho cheese, man. I love walking by
That's something I got to do, though. I never tailgated before.
Yeah, at a baseball game?
At any game.
Oh,
for anything.
Man, yeah, definitely got to do that.
Just got to the game, got a little, whatever, juiced or whatever before the game, and then,
he was doing steroids, y'all. You heard it here first.
And then
he was hanging out with the Barry Bonds.
Be in top shape if you're going to
last week I was a little ill. I went to the doctor and I got some steroids, so I was doing some steroids last week.
Hey, there you go,
and
man.
those things make you hungry too, by the way.
I have never tailgated at a baseball game though, so maybe that's one thing we'll have to do is take a trip up there to Old Truist Park and get into a tailgate. But let's bring in Sam Peebles. He's the creator and host of the Braves Dugout podcast. Sam, the man, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What is the smell from the ballpark that kind of makes you miss baseball or makes you think of baseball?
The one smell that always comes to mind is when we're playing rec league ball and you can smell the concession stand, and that's typically the largest aroma to me was always the cheese and the nachos.
We just had the same answer, man. Great minds always do think alike. For Caveman Rick, it was a spilled beer. I hope we're not smelling that at rec league baseball games. And for Bone Crusher, it was just the aromas coming off of the grills for tailgating. And man, what about the sound of the cornhole bags, which has been a big thing in tailgating recently. Sam, real quick before we dive into baseball, what's been your thought on your Auburn Tigers basketball squad being number one for a large portion of the season?
It's been fantastic. I mean, this is really a first for me. For my lifetime, at least, the Auburn basketball team has never been this good. So, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, Coach Pearl has really been coaching those guys up. They took care of business against Alabama. Their losses, Florida and Duke, I believe, on the year. So not too shabby of teams to be losing to. And they're just they continue to find ways to win. And glad to be an affiliate of the Auburn Tigers this year. War Eagle. Sam, let's start with the bullpen, something that we haven't talked a lot about on the show as we get ready for the 2025 Major League Baseball season. What do you think we see from the Braves bullpen this year? The 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9th inning guys. I mean, Raciel Iglesias looks to hold down the closer spot again, but what is our bullpen going to be as strong as it's been in the past?
I would say as of right now, it's not going to be as strong, but that's okay because it was so elite that they were able to lose some arms. And there's still some guys to keep an eye on, like we talked about a little bit, is Aaron Bummer. His peripherals show that he's a much better pitcher than his ERA was showing. In fact, he was he had a better fielding independent pitching than even Raciel Iglesias. So if his, over a longer period of time, if he keeps pitching the same way he was pitching, he's going to be just fine. Dylan Lee's been great, but there are some other guys to keep an eye out, like Angel Perdomo, right? He's got elite stuff. He just has continued to be injured, and so we haven't really been able to see him at his peak. And so if he comes into the season, a lefty throws gas. I mean, he has some real big potential, but once you get past the top 4 or 5 arms in the bullpen, it starts to drop off real quick. In fact, it's probably going to come down to spring training to determine the last few arms.
Wow. Well, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I guess it's one of those mystery boxes that you could go buy at your favorite card store, and then you never know what you'll get.
Correct. Yeah, you could even see guys like Bryce Elder potentially go to the bullpen because he's out of options, but he's not really the type of guy that you'd want to DFA.
Give me one of those starting pitchers, though, that we got Schwellenbach. We've got, and again, when they have options, they can be moved up and down. But give me one of the starting pitchers that you think. I mean, we had Reynaldo Lopez. He was a relief pitcher. Then we get him from the White Sox, and AA has him become a starting pitcher, and he excelled at that. Give me a starting pitcher that could do the opposite of that, going from starting pitching to. And I know that you mentioned Bryce Elder, but is there anyone else on the staff that might not cut it as a starter and have to move to the bullpen, and you think that they could maybe be more effective by way of not having as many pitches seen against them?
Well, I think that what the reality probably is that Grant Holmes, Ian Anderson, and Bryce Elder are all out of options. So probably whichever one that the team looks at and likes their stuff as a reliever better, which is probably Grant Holmes. But so we'll probably see Grant Holmes get more reps in the bullpen with A.J. Smith-Shawver coming up and Ian Anderson taking that final spot. He's been looking pretty good at spring training, and his fastball is gaining velocity again. So that's my guess, but that is really just a gut feelings more than an actual like deep dive into what I think the Braves would do, analytically.
And we really got to hope for Ian Anderson's sake that it's not the same kind of path as a Mike Fultonavich or a Jair Jurgens, which injuries have played a big role in the career so far for Ian Anderson, but there was a lot of high hopes for him, especially when he first got his starts.
Correct. He was, he had that ferocity that he could pitch in high leverage situations. He came in and made the Yankees look silly. He did really well in his first postseason. So even if his stuff isn't as elite as it used to be, he still has the mental capacity, to just be going there and do his thing.
We got a question from Chef Ross here. I think I know the answer, but just to clarify, he says he should know the answer to this, but how many times can a team option a player to the minors? And I believe that is 3 options, right?
Yeah, so a player has 3 option years. So what that means is once they've been optioned once in a year, then that option goes away. And so you can do that 3 times. And then there's also a limit within the amount of times you can do it per year.
Okay, so, how many times can you do it per year?
It used to be unlimited, but they just changed that a few years ago. I believe it's also 3. It's either 3 or 5.
That does make it a little bit more difficult because sometimes being able to have that flexibility throughout a season, depending on what your injuries are looking like to your rotation, to your offense, or to your bullpen, it would be advantageous to be able to just move someone back and forth. But I do also get putting the limitations on it. Maybe we could limit the amount of deferred payments that the Dodgers and are putting out there for their roster.
Why do they put a limit on that? Because if you got a two-way player like that and you are plagued with injuries, it would be advantageous to keep more parity in the league where teams could compete better if they were able to dip into the minor league system.
The reason is because a lot of these fringe players that go up and down, they get paid out of prorated status. So when they're in the minor leagues, they're getting paid hardly anything, and then when they get pulled up to the major leagues, they're getting paid the prorated amount of the major league salary. So it really guys are going up, getting pulled up to literally Major League Baseball and getting paid less than some of us for the entire year because they're going up and down. So it's to prevent people or teams rather from taking advantage of that loophole and not having to pay their minor leaguers hardly anything.
Yeah, but couldn't they just change the rules to where when you do come up, you're getting that league minimum? For the time that you're there, prorated basically off of the time you're there, and then when you go down, obviously you go back to the lesser pay scale, though.
Yeah, that's what they do. But the thing is, a lot of times, for starting pitchers, they call them up for one day, and then they send them back down. And a starting pitcher, is never going to be on a you pitch once every 5 or 6 days. Right. So they're going to pull them up for one day, pay them the prorated salary for one day, and then bring them back down. And so for the entire year, they could, maybe get paid the prorated league minimum for maybe 10 days out of the entire season.
Okay.
Because,
maybe they should just make it to where, you get paid for 5 or 6 days and, whatever that stretch would be in between starts. But I don't know. I guess that's probably too much to ask.
That would be, hopefully they talk about something like that in the next bargaining agreement, because I think you're onto something.
And we're not too far away from that. Do you think that there's any danger of another lockout in Major League Baseball?
I'm sure that there will be, because that's the way that it's trending. So, yes, I'm sure that there will at least be some serious scares of that happening.
It seems like that happens with baseball more than any other sport. I would say the second most sport is hockey.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, baseball has by far the strongest players' union.
So that's a good thing for the players, bad thing for the fans. How do you think the owners feel about that?
Oh, the owners, I would imagine, hate it because it's typically the union versus the owners.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We have Sam Peebles on the line with us. Not only is he the host and creator of the Braves Dugout podcast, but he's also an author over there on Battery Power, which is one of my favorite go-to sites for the Atlanta Braves. They have a host of great content creators, but of course, Sam the Man Peebles is on there. Also, we got a text in from Wesley. He says, congratulations to Sam Peebles on reaching level 40 on Pokemon Go. Now, I necessarily don't know exactly what that entails, but it seems to be a pretty big achievement.
That's what Pogo, man.
And I think that you posted about it on Facebook as well. Explain to us how big this is a deal for those who play Pokemon Go reaching level 40.
Well, let me just say that I'm not it took me 8.5 years to get there.
Okay.
So I'll just say that. But basically, when the game first came out, level 40 was the level cap at that time. And, the amount of experience points it takes to get from level 39 to level 40 is the same amount of experience points it takes to get from level 1 to level 39.
Oh, wow. So, you got to double up.
So, yeah. So to get from 39 to 40 is pretty difficult to do. And, it's nice for the grind to pay off.
Is this that game that people were losing their lives over trying to catch Pokemons in the middle of a highway or something like that?
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. Okay. Well, big ups then if you're catching monsters and you're on the edge of a cliff in the middle of a highway or whatever, and you got to catch those monsters. So yeah, way to go, Sam.
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is that somehow I made it to level 40 and I'm still alive. So
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, where some people have lost their lives playing this game. So that's kind of crazy because I've played a lot of video games in my day, but I never played any video games where I could potentially lose my life.
What can I say? I'm an adrenaline junkie, you know.
There you go, Sam. Actually, Morgan Hilliard, who's going to be on with us this afternoon, she's a big Pokemon fan as well. I believe a huge Pokemon Go enthusiast as well. But yeah, Wesley, thanks for the reminder there. As we keep on moving on here, who do you think leads the Atlanta Braves in home runs this year, Samuel?
I'm going to say it's probably Matt Olson.
He's been looking good so far.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he just has the pure raw power, and last year, his last 2 months, he was on an absolute tear. So I think if I was betting on it, it'd be Matt Olson, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was Marcell Ozuna because that dude is so consistent when it comes to hitting the ball hard. So it's probably going to be one of those two. Even if Ronald Acuna was healthy all year long, I still would probably have picked one of those two.
That was my next question. I was going to ask about Acuna and possibility of comeback player of the year.
Yeah, it depends on how they vote. A lot of times they tend to look to people that come back from injury, and if he comes back and has, even playing at 80%, I think he has a real good shot of getting that award.
There you go, man. And Marcell Ozuna, when we get him over there from the Cardinals and had a really good year his first year, and then the year prior to that, he was, 183, I believe, at the end of April, and my goodness, or maybe even lower than that. Was it below 100, I think?
Yeah, I think it was below Mendoza line.
Well, Mendoza line's 200.
Yeah, no, I think it was
it was definitely below Mendoza line because I remember saying, well, if he keeps this up, we're going to have to start calling this the Ozuna line. And so I believe it might have been under 100. But yeah, as you just mentioned, since then, though, really since that first month and a half of the season of 2023, he has been on a tear. And a guy that we would love to see on a tear this year is Austin Riley. What kind of a year are you expecting from the third baseman who's looked to have lost a little bit of weight as well?
Oh my goodness, yes. He almost looks like a completely different person. And what's crazy is that even when he was bigger, which I wouldn't even consider him big, just strong, so I didn't even realize he could lose that much weight. But that being said, he was already one of the fastest players on the team. So it's going to be crazy to see how fast he runs the bases this year. But that being said, his underlying metrics showed that he was one of the more unlucky players in the league last year. And so if he's back fully healthy, lost some weight, he's going to be bringing value with the bat and on the base paths. And maybe that means that he'll be able to be a little bit quicker with his glove, too. So I'm really excited to see what he can do this year.
Sam, I want to take these next couple of weeks and just kind of do some win-loss totals, over-unders for all the different divisions. And I also want to ask you a few questions about each division. So we're going to start it off here with the National League West. Who finishes second in the division? I mean, you can say that another team will finish atop, but I think that we're all kind of in agreement for the sweep for the LA Dodgers.
I still think the Padres are the second-best team. The Giants have done some things you said National League West, right?
Yes, sir, yeah.
The Giants have done, the Giants have done some things to get better, but for whatever reason, no matter what they do, they still are a middling team, it seems like. I just can't go against the Padres on this one.
And the Padres, for the last 5 years, have been on and off in the sense of making the playoffs. So I guess my question for you is, yes, they finished second in the West, but do the San Diego Padres make the playoffs?
With the new playoff format, I'd say that they have a legitimate shot, but it would definitely be one of the lower wild card spots.
There you go. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, chatting with Sam Peebles. The Dodgers might have the most improved roster in the National League West, which is ridiculous, speaking on the World Series champions. Outside of the Dodgers, who had the best offseason in this division?
In that division, I actually would give this one to the Giants, I think. The Giants did a really good job of being able to take advantage of Justin Verlander failing some physicals and being able to bring him in for a little bit cheaper, and a few other things that they did. The Giants seem to always have a decent offseason. They just can't capitalize on it. So that's really going to be what I'm looking at. Bringing in Willy Adames was excellent. I mean, to me, that was one of the most gimme, who should go after Willy Adames? The Giants. And they went and got him. And that was just a perfect pickup for them. I think that they did probably the best. The Padres went backwards a little bit, but they're still a good ball team.
There you go. All right, now we'll look at the win totals real quick here. LA Dodgers, are they over or under 103.5 wins?
103.5. I'll say under, because I would have said 103.
Hey, wow, man, that'll be cutting it close right there. The Padres are sitting at 89.5, over or under?
Ooh, I'm going to go under on that one.
Ooh, Arizona and the Diamondbacks sitting at 83.5. Does Corbin Carroll bounce back, and do they finish over or under 83.5?
I'll say over.
All right, moving on to the Giants. They're set at 79.5. What do you think there?
I'll go over on that one, too. I'm looking at probably 81 or 82 wins.
So very close. And then we'll go to the cellar dweller in the West. And I can't, man, this one's tough. 60.5 is what the number is for the Colorado Rockies, over or under there?
Oh, my goodness. That one's tough.
That's a tough number, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going to stay with just how, with the Diamondbacks getting better, I think they'll be better. And then with the Dodgers, I mean, they have a more spread out schedule than they used to, but the Rockies are just so bad. I think I'm going to do the under on this one. I think they're probably going to go into the trade deadline and sell off some of their players and start a rebuild. So I say that because that's what they should do, but the Rockies are one of the worst run organizations in the history of baseball, so they probably won't, but if they were smart, they'd sell off at the trade deadline. So I'm going to say under.
Beautiful ballpark, but yet just terribly ran organization. So we've got 3 unders for the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Rockies, and then overs for the Diamondbacks and the Giants. Next week, we'll dive into the American League West, and I'll have some other questions for you. We'll go over the win totals, and we'll see how close you get. I know that every year when it comes to the Atlanta Braves prediction, maybe last year was a little off, but that's not your fault at all. Who's going to be able to foresee all of the injuries that the Atlanta Braves had to deal with last year?
Yeah, I was not close last year. I've been pretty darn close the years before, but not last year.
Absolutely. Sam, as always, so great to have you on with us. Congratulations again for hitting level 40, and keep on keeping on with all the great work that you do for Lynn Haven and for Bay County, for America, and for us sports nuts.
That's right. Get out and vote in April.
Get out and vote in April. You heard it right here on the Afternoon Underdogs. Hey, shoot, when it comes to April, Best of Bay will be opening up as well for nominations.
Right.
So there you go. We'll get Sam on with us, and let's just sweep it out this year. A whole ESPN Northwest Florida top 3 there. Sam, take care, my friend. Have a great weekend with the fam.
Absolutely. Go Braves.
Go Braves. Chop off. Caveman, I was going to say, don't even say it. We got to go to a break. Someone's got to tighten Caveman Rick up right now. It's not going to be able to be me. It's not going to be me, but we might have someone in the building that can take care of business for us. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming up next, let's play a little trivia.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking it to the home. Your home for the most live college basketball in the Gulf Coast. The ACC, SEC, and the biggest games in the country. Plus the official station of March Madness.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
Hear every slam dunk in ultra-high fidelity right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. The remainder of the day, sunshine and 69 with a moderate breeze at 13 miles per hour out of the west-southwest. Tonight, a wind out of the west around 9 miles per hour and mostly clear skies with lows around 58. Tomorrow, sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? We can typically replace them while you wait. Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? In many cases, we can have it back to you the next day. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, just south of Tractor Supply. The best place in town to take a leak.
Krispy Kreme Donuts invites you to bring the cinema home while you're binge watching your go-to Hulu shows and movies. Enjoy the first of its kind in the Hulu and Krispy Kreme collab. It's the new Candy Double Feature Donuts, the Cookie Dough Superstar Donut, the Caramel Popcorn Donut, and the Blue Raspberry Slush Donut. Only at Krispy Kreme Donuts, in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and on the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan. Krispy Kreme Donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
From the diamond to the end zone, from the studio to the sideline, we're the destination for sports on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
We're back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, Morgan Hilliard, and the Bone Crusher, and this is the Panhandle's home for Auburn Tiger basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 and Panama City 101.9 in Port St. Joe. And this Saturday, it's going to be a showdown. Coach Pearl and the number 1 Auburn Tigers travel to Rupp Arena to face number 17 Kentucky. Cover starting at 11:30 a.m. Tip off at noon on Saturday on your number 1 destination for college basketball. The Auburn Tigers March Madness, ESPN Northwest Florida. Morgan, woo! Pull over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what that sound was there for. No, how's everything going?
I didn't know you could get pulled over for being too pretty. My bad.
All right.
Speaking of that, I seen a meme today, a video of a gal that got pulled over by a police officer.
Oh, here
and
we
then she tells the cop, I thought you guys didn't give pretty girls tickets. And he's like, yeah, we don't. And give her the ticket.
Fine. Oh man,
Crushed your dreams right there.
Because you still got to pay the ticket right there.
Awesome.
Our trivia question. This kind of reminded me of you for some reason. Not the question itself, but just like your burner verse, which this isn't burner verse. I was watching trivia questions that who posted it, who tweeted it, right? And this is, so our answer is who tweeted it. The statement is, I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts. I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts. 850-215-6290. Let us know who you think tweeted this out. You'll get a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and Major Smokehouse. Do you know who it is? Don't say the answer if you know who it is.
I'm not going to say the answer.
But you know who it is?
But but also it reminds me of the Disney's Meet the Robinsons, like the T-Rex. He's like, I got a big head and little arms.
I don't remember Meet the Robinsons.
No, it's like a coming of age movie.
I'm probably too old for that. It's probably
okay.
Like
actually, I do remember seeing, but I never watched
Story.
it though. Never watched it.
It's kind of weird. It's like about a kid who's an orphan, and then he like gets sucked into this alternate universe somehow, and he meets this like other family, and he realizes that life like isn't so bad, and then he goes back to his universe and he gets adopted. It's a really good movie. It's just
a Disney
got
movie,
a lot
so.
of like sci-fi references in it.
Yeah.
It's really cute though.
It looks like the little gold robot. Looks familiar, like it's from something. I'm not entirely sure. But we've got David who just got off work. David, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my friend?
How are you doing, sir?
I am doing absolutely well. We're looking for the athlete who tweeted this. I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts.
An all-out guess, but I'm going to say Brock Purdy.
That is right or wrong, Morgan? Tell us. That is incorrect, and the people can't hear you shaking your head left to right there.
I didn't know I was allowed to talk. Okay.
Yeah, no, you are. You don't have to give us the right answer. We're not looking for the right answer. I was just wanting a yes or no. And, David, that is incorrect, but we do appreciate the call, my friend. Who is your favorite NFL team?
Oh, the Rams.
Oh, the Rams. All right. Well, this guy actually played against the Rams in the Super Bowl. And then I'll also go further to say it's not football season anymore, so tell me who your Major League Baseball team is.
We've had this discussion, the Reds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't remember off the voice alone, my friend. What's that?
I almost forget I like the Reds.
I don't. Hey, but this year things are looking up for you guys, as it feels every year around this time. I feel like every fan of Major League Baseball teams, outside of maybe the White Sox and the Rockies, feel like that they're in contention right now as we're getting ready to get the season underway.
For sure.
How do you feel about keeping Matthew Stafford on a restructured deal?
I am stoked about that. I was been a little on edge about where he was going to leave us for.
Well, it was going to be the Giants or the Raiders, and he decided today to stay with the Rams and restructure that deal. So excited for you guys. David, thanks so much for the call, my friend.
You betcha. Thank you very much.
All right, 850-215-6290. I gave away a pretty big hint there after David's answer of Brock Purdy. I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts. This question kind of revolving around the NFL Combine. Have you heard anything from the NFL Combine that kind of excites you? Any burner-verse tweets or anything like that?
There is something that really excites me, and I put it on my notes. Shamar Stewart is having a perfect time. He's an edge for A&M. He entered the draft. He's in the mix right now of being talked about for the number 1 spot. And you'll love this, David, and this is why I put it on my notes. Is he a Titan?
As number 1 pick overall?
Not the number 1 pick, but there's besides going overall, there's also mixed talk that the Titans are heavily interested in him.
Well, so, and maybe so. What I've kind of learned over... I never really cared about the draft. Not that I didn't care. I cared who we drafted, and this is prior to me working here. I cared who we drafted and furthermore, who every team drafted, But it was one of those things that once I started working here, I realized how you can't trust anything that's said around these times.
Absolutely
right
not.
Now, right?
I just didn't know if you'd seen this or not.
No. I have not seen it at all. What I will say, though, is that the Titans are definitely in line for an edge rusher, and I think the fact that Harold Landry is seeking a trade is making that even more of a known point. So Abdul Carter was going to be their go-to guy, but then yesterday they find out, well, he's got a stress fracture in his foot and is going to require surgery, and he's out. If he has the surgery before the draft, 8 weeks. If you're the Titans and you draft Abdul Carter, I might have to rescind my fandom on a team for the first time in my life. And will I actually do that? Absolutely not. I got way too many hats. Well, really, I don't have that many. But I have enough hats to keep me locked in to the Titans for the rest of my life.
Let me ask a question
Yeah.
while we wait for this trivia question.
850-215-6290. I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts. You'll win a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and Major Smokehouse. Back to you. And I have a question for you after your question for the panel.
Beautiful. No notes. My question is, if you actually were going to rescind your fandom,
What team
NFL
would I
only,
go to?
where would you go?
Alabama will. I can't rescind my
NFL
fan. No. I know.
Okay,
I'm saying I can't rescind. I literally have them tattooed on me. So, so Alabama. That was
that's a
their
big
Technology nowadays, you can get rid of tattoos and you can cover them up.
Not me,
excuse.
man.
Pete Davidson mentioned.
I got
So
right.
where are you going?
He got all of them removed except for one, right?
Yeah.
Pete Davidson. Yeah. No, I got my first tattoos. I got two of them at the same time.
That's not what I asked.
I know
goofball.
that, but we're.
It's not,
I'm trying to.
I got an answer for
I'm
that
trying to
though.
think.
All right,
Don't
Rick?
pick the Eagles because we
I
don't
wouldn't.
want nobody who's
I'm
like
not,
already
I'm not a
rescinding
trash human being, so no, I'm just kidding. That's
Real?
wait,
Okay.
Hey, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion.
It's
but
not
hey,
it's not my opinion. I just like to give crap to the wild fan base that is the Philadelphia
I
Eagles.
just
And if
feel
you're
you.
a Philadelphia Eagles fan out there listening right now, that was not a shot towards you.
that's cool.
That was a shot to my good buddy Caveman
Word.
Rick. That's all that was.
But yeah, we don't want nobody like that that's like giving up their fandom because that means you're not a true
No,
fan.
and I'm
so I
not
don't want
going
you on my
to.
side
But
of the
right
fence.
now, what we're talking about is a question from Morgan Hilliard, okay?
Yes.
Which is if that were to happen, which is not going to happen.
If
It's
your
not gonna happen.
favorite
Do you know how
team-
long my team has been trash
Yes.
for? My entire life.
Okay, but also
All right.
real.
Right. So but that's and even growing up, Alabama was garbage. Alabama was garbage when I was growing up. Our best year was
Hey, so-
let me talk.
Go
That's what the
back to
radio
the
is about. I am. I have to make things go in a circle. Okay, it's not a square. It's not a triangle. It's a circle.
It should be a straight line.
No, I don't do 180
It should be a
degrees.
straight line.
No, more of a 360 type of guy. With that being said, I don't have like an answer off the top of my head. Like would I want to go with a local team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, Saints, or Falcons? Looks like a collective piece of garbage to me. Buccaneers. I did live in Tampa. Like Tampa's a team that I slightly root for. I don't. No, that's not true. But I grew up there, and so I have
just a vested interest.
a vested interest, if you will, like kind of
fair.
how you do for the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, because I
Right?
lived in St. Louis and hockey. Like it wasn't like today where you can just turn on the TV and watch games willy nilly from wherever.
I don't think that I could. I'll say Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carolina Panthers because I lived there
Sure.
too when I
I hear
was
you, but
young.
still.
Okay.
Garbage. So I go from garbage to
To garbage.
bottom of. Are you going to ask Caveman Rick this question?
Yeah, I am.
He's not going to
He's
answer.
It'll
this.
never happen. Like,
Who would you like? What? You're a Cowboys fan, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like
Yeah, so-
garbage to garbage, you know? Like
Yeah.
don't ask about the contents of that
No, it would
dumpster
be
fire.
Ravens.
It's personal.
Ravens. Sorry, it would be the Ravens actually because
Derrick
that's,
Henry?
Derrick
right.
Henry.
And I was rooting for them.
And he's
heavily
about
this
done
last
though.
year.
Another season or two, he won't
Yes.
be there. And then what?
Then I'm on like Jay.
And then you got like Justin Tucker. You got the.
No, again, I'm not aligning with either one of them. So, all right, my goodness. Who?
You're surprised I went there? Come on now.
No, I'm not surprised at all. So, which you should do this anyways. You should rescind your Cowboys fandom. Who would you go to? Texans? Because you are
Exciting Whites.
Exciting Whites.
Well, you just told me you wouldn't let me come there.
Yeah, well, you're a Dallas fan too, and like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just,
like
hey, I'm not saying that I would like not let you, but what I'm trying to say though is like you have a vested interest.
Yes, I am just yanking your chain. I do love Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship, but I would probably go to my narrative that I've pushed all season, which is the Dan Campbell Cuties, also known as
I don't think I've heard
the
you say.
Detroit Lions.
I just figured
I
to
don't
stay
think
in the
I've heard
state
you
of
say-
Texas and go with Houston or something like that.
It feels wrong.
We got to take a quick timeout. We've got to get back for hour number 2. I just realized we're about 2 minutes past our timing here, and that's what happens when Morgan comes into the building with us. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. Hour number 2 is upon us when we get back.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For tonight, mostly clear skies. Gentle breeze out of at 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, sunshine with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, sunny with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Bendian's Best Moves is a local moving company in Panama City, providing reliable services to the families and businesses in our community. Coveted for the long list of services they provide, experts at what they do, and they do it all from start to finish. The pros at Bendian's Best Moves have moved doctors, attorneys, pastors, schools, small businesses, the federal government, and they can move you too. For the best moving experience, it's Bendian's Best Moves. Call now, 850-583-0814.
Auburn basketball is chasing another SEC championship.
10 to shoot. Janai spins. Up with the left hand. Got it!
The Tigers open the month of madness at Kentucky.
Denver rises up for a three. It's baked it in! Up the right sideline for Pettiford. The Hodge. Stop and pop three. Buries it!
Coverage starts Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back for hour number 2. You're riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs in the doghouse with David Hayes, Caveman Rick, Morgan Hilliard, also known as Barbie, and the Bone Crusher. We are live from the Bendian's Best Move Studios. Call Quentin at 850-583-0814. And again, this is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We are your home for the Coach James Hale Show in the morning, weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. All right, so what's funny over there?
We just came back into the show, and you can totally see me doing degenerate things.
Degenerate things. Well, you are a degenerate, and also your boss has been watching. Larry Perry says, "Roll Tide, Morgan." How do you feel about that? Roll Tide?
Does he really say that?
Yeah. I swear.
Right.
Oh, hi, Larry. Oh,
Can you just say "Roll Tide" for your boss one time?
No.
Please?
No, I'm not
I think
going
you should
against
say
my
it.
fans.
I'll say go ahead.
Okay.
Don't sell
For
out.
Larry
For your
Perry,
boss.
I would do anything, but I'm not going to cross over into another jurisdiction.
Okay, so what if I say this? You can't do the show anymore unless you say "Roll Tide."
Well, I guess I'm going home then. So it's been nice seeing you.
Hey, we appreciate you. Yeah,
Don't
Aggie
sell out.
self. All right, so we've got a lot to dive into. We're having some great, fun conversation here in the break. Also, Sam Peebles, level 40 on Pokemon Go. We're going to find out what level Morgan Hilliard is and who has more time to waste on their hands. Ron, no, I'm just kidding. I am totally just kidding. That is something they work hard for. Ron is riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs right now. He's driving home from work. Ron, my friend, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. I've been listening to you for about a minute on the radio, wondering what was going on.
1 minute. That's it.
That's all right.
Man, we got...
I'm driving back from work.
All right. Well, there you go. Did you have a good work day today on this beautiful Friday afternoon?
I sure did, mainly because it was Friday.
Well, there you go. You could have said secondarily because you've been listening to the Afternoon Underdogs on your way home and just got you ready for the weekend. But the question that we're asking right now is who tweeted it? I'm considering retirement after being informed the football will keep slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts.
I believe that was Joe Burrows.
I believe that you are 100% correct. You just won yourself a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and a $25 gift certificate to Major Smokehouse. Caveman Rick, do you have something? No. Okay.
Ice in his veins.
He does have ice in his veins. Major Smokehouse, have you ever been there before?
I have not.
Well, I'm glad
but I
that
do like barbecue, and it sounds like they have barbecue.
And they've got good barbecue as well as what from what I've heard and from what I've tasted over there from Major Smokehouse. Who's your favorite baseball team, Ron?
As far as baseball goes, I'd have to go with the Atlanta Braves. I'm not really a super baseball fan, but I am a Buccaneers fan.
Oh, you are a Buccaneers fan. Well, what have you thought about Baker Mayfield taking over for Tom Brady along his way?
I'll tell you the truth. At the beginning, I was skeptical, but at the same rate, he's done an awesome job. I think he's going to do fine.
Now, Ron, have I ever met you before?
I went to a wrestling event one time and met you.
All right. Well, good stuff, man. I can't wait.
Bay Haven.
Yeah. No, so it wasn't this last one, though. It was probably last year or the year prior to that, right?
I'm sure it was a year ago at least.
There you go. Well, I can't wait to see you again, man. And thanks so much for listening. And you just won yourself 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and a gift card, a gift certificate to Major Smokehouse. And we look forward to seeing you, bud.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Absolutely. Go Bucks. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Now, Morgan, we were talking about wasting time. I mean, we were talking about Pokemon Go or Pogo or whatever you guys call it. I don't know. I'm still learning. I'm still learning about these things, right? You're a huge Pokemon fan. What's your favorite Pokemon character?
Absol.
Mine's the Pokeball.
Absol, without a doubt.
What?
It's like a mythical wolf that has a scythe coming out of his head or her head. It's a dark and bug type Pokemon. She has a signature move, which is Night Slash, and she has a couple other signature moves, but that's kind of one of the ones you get filtered in Pokemon Go specifically.
This is kind of what it's be like when you guys are driving in your vehicles and your wife is riding with you and they're like, what are they talking about right now? That's how I feel when I hear Pokemon stuff coming up. But do you collect the cards and stuff as well or just play Pokégo?
I'm not really I'm not really into the cards. I've never been like a card collector. That's just not really what.
So were you into Pokemon when you were young and you
Yes.
never collect? Okay, so
I collected the cards when I was younger, but then I got more into it whenever I got a Game Boy and then I got a Nintendo DS because that was like my generation growing up.
You had a Game Boy?
Yeah, I had a Game Boy.
Like Game Boy, the gray one with the purple.
The color.
What color Game Boy did you have?
I had a blue one.
Blue one, like the
royal blue one?
Yeah,
I had a royal blue Game Boy.
I always wanted one of those.
I had the OG one. OG.
Yeah.
I think I went straight from
the gray one that looked like an original NES.
Yes.
Had the light. Had I
had that one.
Played
the
football
light.
on there.
That thing sucked.
Came with Tetris. Came with Tetris. Yeah, OG back in the day. I was starting.
I think I went. I might have had a Game Boy Advance. That was like the flip phone, right? But then when the PSP, like how the PSP is not like still around
was
today.
So before its time, though. Like I know a lot of people talk about like singers on like there before your time.
Yeah.
But if you're going to talk the gaming world, the PSP was revolutionary and it did not get the love it deserved because if that came out in today's day and age, it could easily compete with a Nintendo Switch. 100%. It would be.
Revolutionary?
No, it would be like Nintendo Switch is really for I feel like kind of like.
It would be like the adult version. It would be like an adult Game Boy.
Intricate gaming because I have a Nintendo Switch and I play a lot of games that require a lot of thought. Like you have the reintroduction of the Zelda games, the remakes of those. You have Pokemon games being reintroduced. You can play Animal Crossing, which is intentionally like a design game for anyone.
Like a crosswalk for animals where you.
No, you're like a villager, and like you design this entire island. You unlock stuff to design your island and do all these things. But there's a lot of games that are like make you really think, like thinking games.
It's like Harvest Moon.
Yes, or Skydew Valley or things like that. And you can play. What's the shooting game where you do the zombies? No, it's the zombies.
Call of Duty.
No, it's
Fallout.
Call of Duty's the one with zombies.
Like an R in it. It starts with an
Resident
R.
Evil.
Yes, you can play the Resident Evil games. Like you can play games like that.
That was like one of the arcade shooters back in the day.
I played Resident Evil OG on PlayStation 1, the OG PlayStation.
So what I'm saying, if the PSP came back in this day and age and they reintroduced it to the world, I feel like it would, first of all, it would bang without a doubt. Second, bang. It would bang, without a doubt. And then also, it would really be aimed, like, I feel like more towards boys, because that's what PlayStation's trying to do. Currently, they have a handheld version that you can get that will sync to your PS5, and you can take your games on the go with you, but it's not the original PSP.
I don't know. I thought Atari Jaguar was pretty badass back in the day, too, but that didn't last too long.
Was that a handheld one as well?
Yeah, it was like, it was before PSP. It was like, I think it was even before, like, the Game Boy Advance. It came out low after the regular Game Boy.
Well, so we talked with Sam Peoples. He's at level 40. What level are you at? Because he says from level 39 to level 40 is the same amount of experience points that it takes to get from level 1 to level 39. What level are you at? And tell us how long it took you to get there.
I am level 49. I'm half a level away, essentially, to being level 50, which right now is the highest level that you can get. And it has taken me since 2020 to get here. I actually turned level 49 whenever I was in Scotland about this time last year. I went to Scotland March 8th last year.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
you had a great time because you met up with like Pokemon Go people.
I actually went to Scotland to play and meet my people who play Pokemon overseas.
You paid thousands of dollars to go play Pokemon Go and see a beautiful country, but you saw the country while looking at your phone like, oh, look, there's Charizard over there.
So what we would do is we would tour Scotland during the day, and then at nighttime we would bar hop and we would play Pokemon between all the bars and at the bars, and like we would meet people, and there was people I already was acquaintances with, and we did all this stuff, and I knew all these people all through this game. And I'm still an admin in this group. I'm not near as active as I used to be because I have ESPN now, I have work, I have school, but you know, I still pop in, I still pay my dues.
You have
and my
college baseball as well.
I have college baseball, God forbid, God bless you, Ryan Prager. But anyways, I have all this going on, and so I pop in every now and then, but I'm like an OG admin, and I have right around like 2,000 people in it.
Wow.
Something like that.
Did you start the group?
I was added to the group, and it's like very early stages when it got created. Yeah, I got added to the group, became an admin after like 2 or 3 months of being in the group, and I've been in that role ever since I was added.
I thought like over there in the UK, like
they have
England,
Pokemon?
Scotland, like Ireland, like the bars, you talking about bar hopping. I thought they closed like relatively earlier, and then you got stuck there. Like you couldn't like go to another one. Like you were there until like you left, and then when you left, like you couldn't go into another one.
No, actually, well, in Scotland specifically, we stayed in Edinburgh. You can stay out about like Texas drinking laws. You can stay out until roughly 1 to 2 a.m. and then they kick you out, and you have to.
People get mad when that happens.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Correct.
They're like, 2 o'clock. We can't. We got to keep it going till 4.
Yeah. So you have to leave, but you don't go home. You cannot take beverages from the bar when you leave. Like a lot of people, you know, will like take their drink and walk like the downtown area here or whatever. While
Which
I was
recently
there,
just got passed 2 years ago,
so
less than that.
While I was there, we went to a concert, and I didn't know that we were going to go to another bar right after I had bought like our group. I bought like 6 beers. I had bought it for the entire group. They were like, "Oh, we're leaving." Luckily, I had my purse, and I was like, "That's great,
so
fantastic."
You just poured your beer in your purse?
No, I just stuck all 6 of them like in a line, and I just walked out with them, and then we went to the next bar, and I was like, "Okay, here's everyone's drinks."
So, all right, breaking the law over there in Scotland. Do we have any MPs over there that we could get out? No,
I'm not a minor. I wasn't a minor.
Well, no, but you took the beer out of the bar,
like,
though.
you know, like here, like you can't bring in drinks into another, you know, bar or whatever you got.
What's in the purse, Lassie?
Yeah, what's it?
Don't worry about it.
And what kind of beer are we talking? Was like Guinness, like some stout
what kind of
stuff,
beer
or
did
like
you
an
drink
Irish
over there?
red, like a red, or
They
like
had
Budweiser.
They had some ciders. I found this like
or a mead,
raspberry cider. I'm a huge fan of Angry Orchard. First of all, huge Angry
That's the
Orchard
apple
fan.
one, right?
Yeah, that's the apple one. Apples are red. 2 apples a day
Typically
will keep the
orchards
doctor away. But I found 2
So it
apples
takes
a day.
2 angry orchards or whatever to
Angry orchids.
to equal 1 apple.
No, there's 2 apples in every bottle of Angry Orchard.
Oh, full apples.
Yeah, full. There's 2
Facts.
apples in every bottle of Angry Orchard. But anyways, I had found
Learn
this like
something new.
raspberry cider, and it banged. So I just I drank that about the whole time I was over there. I did try some other stuff, but I'm just not a fan of like Guinness and whatnot. It's too heavy for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's the thing.
Well,
You don't
just
drink a
work
few
out a
of them,
little
and
bit,
then
and
like
you'll be able to lift it.
It's like liquid bread. You drink a couple Guinnesses, it feels like you ate a loaf of bread. But I mean,
Yeah, it's really heavy on like your stomach. You get full really quickly. Like imagine eating like 20 chicken wings. It's the same feeling for me.
I don't really drink.
I'm in for the rally.
Yeah, you mix it with the harp, and you make your black and tan, and it's a little like thinner that way.
Yeah.
Just not as big a fan of beer as
I saw another meme too, where like an American was over there, like in Ireland, and was asking the bartender if they knew how to make an Irish car bomb, and it was a chick bartender, and then she started getting smart with the American person asking about an Irish car bomb, saying that's kind of like a little like off-putting because of like the Irish IRA and stuff like that, the militant group. So then she asked the American girl if she could make her like a 9/11. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good comeback. Pretty good burn.
That is good. No, we were really respectful over there. We were very respectful to our bartenders, and we tried to do a lot of stuff that's like only you can do overseas. I didn't want to do anything.
I
we
wish
could
you
do
were
here in
eating
the
or drinking, because that would have been 2 times in 1 week. I would have got you to spit your food out by telling you something.
Well, it's just like one of the things I'm like, I know that something reckless is always going to come out of your mouth, but I think I laughed the second time because like I shouldn't be laughing at that. But
it's funny. Comedy's comedy, man. What are you going to do, right?
Dark humor is allowed.
It is allowed, but sometimes
is it frowned upon? Who cares?
Well,
it's allowed.
Be in the position that we're in. I think sometimes there's some lines that maybe you wait till the breaks to cross those, but Rick doesn't care, and so I can't help what I laugh
that's my
at.
shtick, man.
No doubt. If you're talking about kicking babies, then really that particular thing that you said, which didn't originally come from your mouth,
That was
right?
Kyle Albrin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta start pointing fingers. We need to
put a picture of Kate
Just don't put the digits
right now.
over here, man. Like I said, I'm good without the digits.
Any complaints come in?
Yeah, no.
If the FCC shows up,
I'll sign it. I'll put my name on it. I ain't scared.
Oh, someone texted in for the trivia answer. Joe the Goat Burrow. We appreciate you texting in. Let's get into Mo's Nose from the Burnerverse while we have a plenteous amount of time left here in the segment, all of 4 minutes. So what do we got? Let's dive into it. Do you want to dive into the biggest story from the Burnerverse that, like, Pat McAfee on his show today was saying they alluded to it yesterday when they had Adam Schefter on. Then today they're talking about it, it's like it's trending #1 all over the entire world, which I didn't know it was that big. But
it was trending. It was number 9.
It was trending. Oh, number 9, so it never got to #1.
No, it was number 9 in the trends.
I noticed what was trending today on Twitter very heavily.
I've been kind of busy today. Well, what was it?
It was like World War III and JD Vance and Trump versus.
We're not talking politics.
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying that those were the top things that I noticed trending. I don't ever really click on those things because I don't care.
I'm online to giggle. I just want to giggle.
Giggle,
don't want to
wiggle, wiggle.
I don't want to see anything serious. I'm online to giggle and get my, if you will, journalist information. All the notes I pull for the show.
I want to giggle and be a jerk. I'm a gigglist.
I am. All the notes I pull for my segments all come from multiple news sources, and I compile them to fit my filthy narratives.
There you go. Well, let's start off with your filthy narrative #1. What is trending #1 in Morgan's Burnerverse? Which I saw that also hashtagged a lot yesterday, Burnerverse. So I guess I could just click on that and learn more about the Burnerverse.
Yeah, you can click on anything.
Yeah, I know
yeah,
that.
you
If
can
it's a
just
link.
click on it.
Yeah.
It'll
if
take
I click
you
on the
to
white words, it's just going to allow me to highlight it.
It'll take you to what's being said about the current topic. I mean, the Burnerverse is kind of hit or miss. I feel like there's a lot of terrible people in it and people who just are exploiting it for what it is. But I feel like we should just go to the break and then I'll dive into it as soon as we come back.
We've got 2 minutes, so we'll kill some time before we do that. Albert Pujols, Caveman Rick, is going to be managing the Dominican Republic team in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. So I thought that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah,
the fact that, there's no, it doesn't really change anything. The Dominican Republic is going to be a solid team in every single international baseball tournament. But what about this is almost, Twitterverse friendly, if you will, or something that was trending on Twitter. UNC, North Carolina, they're going to be featured on Hard Knocks offseason, and one of the reasons why, the main reason is because they can't find an NFL team to volunteer to do it, because Joe Shane, the general manager of the New York Giants, was like, yeah, I don't know if I would recommend, if someone asked me to do this, I'd tell them to stay away from it. But that's mainly because they got mocked and trolled so hard because they let go of Saquon Barkley this year.
Yeah, well, do you think if Belichick wasn't there that they'd be doing
not North Carolina, but they would have to find someone else to do
what I'm trying to say, though, is because Belichick's there. If he wasn't there, it wouldn't be UNC. It might not even be a Hard Knocks. I think it's just basically predicated upon Belichick being at UNC.
Well, last year was their first season doing it, and again, I think that they were running out of time to be able to find a team, because here we are in the offseason, Combine's going, you got to have cameras rolling right now. Yes, that's why they went to North Carolina, but if they could have gotten an NFL team, again, an NFL team is going to outdo basically every college establishment outside of Ohio State, Michigan.
If you're the bottom feeder of the team in the NFL, that should be your punishment. And in order to prevent teams from tanking and stuff like that to get the number one pick, okay? So I know some teams don't want to be on there. Then make it a rule to where if you're the bottom feeder team, you got to be on there.
This isn't the regular Hard Knocks. So this is Hard Knocks off season, and it's a very intimate process. It's a very revealing process too, and you're going through a lot of situation you're going through a lot of decision making in this time. So I think that that's one of the reasons too why it's more volunteer based, because when it comes to the ones in the preseason and throughout the season, there's
you're not going to find an NFL team that wants to do it. That's my whole point.
Did it last year.
That's my whole point. Nobody wants to do it. So you're not going to find anybody. So you have to make it forced upon. So do it that way, and that way you don't have to worry about it.
If you're in your losingest season, then you're up for grabs. If you're in your losingest season, then you're up for grabs.
So it should be the Titans that should be forced to be on.
I think it should be like a rally between the last three teams, or
like a lottery pick.
Yeah, like a lottery between the last three teams. And they're losing a season of the past season that just ended. And then if you're picked in the lottery, so what? Then, people are going to make fun of you, but it's not like, oh, I went out and chose this. There you go. There you have your answer.
People are going to make fun of you anyway. You're a bottom feeder.
People are always going to make fun of you. Who cares?
I think I'm excited to see what happens with this version of Hard Knocks, and then we'll kind of re-ask the question next year. You guys riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We've got Mo's Notes coming up next, college baseball, and your local scoreboard to wrap up the show for this week. We'll be right back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer, punch it in. College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming,
Rampant. The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 58 with a gentle breeze out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, sunshine with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, sunny with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you have a stucco home, a leak is your biggest enemy. Cracks, missing pieces, soft spots, and moisture on the walls are signs that your stucco needs repair. So who do you call? Marinate Construction and Stucco Repair checks all the boxes. Local, family-owned, reliable, trustworthy, and experienced. Marinate Construction and Stucco Repair actually shows up when they say they will. If your stucco makes you say, uh-oh, call Marinate Construction and Stucco today. 850-387-9851.
Every love story deserves a perfect beginning. At Tracy's Fine Jewelry, we believe that your engagement ring should be as unique as your love. Explore our vast selection of certified natural and lab-created diamonds, each hand-picked for brilliance and beauty. Whether you desire the timeless allure of one of our hand-selected engagement rings, or you'd like to custom design the perfect ring, Visit us today and let our experts guide you in finding the ring of her dreams, because love deserves the best. Tracy's Fine Jewelry, where love sparkles.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster.
You're gonna be mine. Woo!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, Morgan Hilliard, and the Bone Crusher. This is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We got the NFL Combine going on, college baseball's going on, but we have Morgan Hilliard telling you guys about what's going to be going down March 8th, which is
the Spring Fling Juried Arts and Crafts Show. It's Saturday, March 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at Frank Brown Recreation Center, which is at 16200 Panama City Beach Parkway. The cafe will be open throughout the show hours, and it's only $1 for adults. If you don't have anything to do, your wife is crafty, maybe she wants to get into a new hobby, take your wife and your kids on out there. Nothing like getting out of the house. It's been beautiful weather, and as long as it holds, what better than to do than give back to your community? Go check them out.
Just don't be drinking beer on the sandy beaches.
Not during the month of March.
Right. Tonight is your last night. You're running out of daylight as well. You got about 35 minutes or so to get over there and enjoy the sunset. But as Caveman Rick said, you can drink all the way up until midnight. But once midnight, we're laying the law down. We're laying the law down. There's going to be certain portions of the beach that are also going to be shut down throughout spring break at nighttime as well. So make sure that you stay up to date with the laws. What's your favorite hobby to do with the arts and crafts? Pokemon Go doesn't
resin.
count.
I really like resin. If you've ever heard of that.
Sounds like a Caveman Rick type of a hobby.
It's
easy.
It's like
that resin's live though.
It's
scraping the ball.
I like resin. It's half. It's equal parts hardener. It's a liquid hardener to resin, which is also a liquid, and it molds. You put it in like silicone, and it molds into whatever you want it to be. I've made coasters, I've made ashtrays, I've made cups, I've made dishes for like around my sink, just like to put stuff in for fun. I've made all kinds of stuff. I've made keychains. I have all kinds of stuff, and it's really fun.
Carla Goff chiming in. She says, hi, Mo. She's also very creative and artistic as well. I believe they're going to be at the St. Andrews Market this weekend. So go check out Bite Me treats and all the great stuff that they have.
Boston Tim's Boston Crunch.
Yeah, I guess
cake sandwiches.
Some Mo mustache cookies and whatnot. All right, so what's going on in the land of Twitter, the land after time?
Where you mean time kind of stands still for a moment?
Yeah, that's true.
There was a story that broke this week that was kind of crazy, mostly about a young lady who was having some things go on in her personal life. She was having some things go on in her personal life. Maybe she wanted to disclose, maybe she didn't. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know anything about these people. I just know a bunch of hearsay. I can tell you that.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. That's Ole Miss for you.
Or you just call her Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Miss Ole Miss.
Okay. So, anyways, lots going on at Ole Miss all the time. But anyway, she had some things going on in her personal life that got leaked somehow, some way to the internet. I was on the clock, so I don't know exactly what the originating tweet was.
Larry, tuna.
Because I didn't see it till after I got off work, so I don't know what like the originating tweet was, but it kind of blew up the internet. And this is my thing towards it. If you're going to do whatever in your personal life, whatever, do it. Whether it's true, whether it isn't true, whether it holds value to you or not, whatever happens. The thing is that I don't believe that men over the age of 40, Pat McAfee and Barstool, I'm looking right at you. It should not be a topic for you to get on the air and call an 18-year-old a slut. I don't think you should be doing that.
Okay, all right. We are. So who said that though?
One of the
McAfee
Barstool guys. I don't think
Pat McAfee. They seem to like kind of.
They kind of walk the line. They kind of prance on it.
Anything that happens on Twitter and the world, Bone Crusher all the time is like, hey man, like there's. I know that you want it to be all about sports, but sometimes you got to talk about the topical things. And I think Pat McAfee and them do a great job of that.
Pat did, but Barstool took it really far. They had several of their members release videos
but
about the situation.
They're their own type
they're
of
their own
sports.
thing. I just don't think if you're over a certain age and of a certain demographic.
So if it was someone who was 23, they're fine.
No, I don't think you should be talking about anyone's personal life on a nationally broadcasted
But
thing.
if that girl
at
was a
all.
celebrity, then it's fine.
I mean, is she Joy Taylor? Absolutely not.
But Joy Taylor is a celebrity, right?
She's also sports
it's fair game, right? 100. I see where you're where you're coming from.
Okay, so
I guess I disagree with you though.
I just don't like that the guy who published the main story came out and had so much to say about it. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's a Barstool guy, but he had so much to say about it.
Was it one of the big Barstool guys?
Yeah, one of
like
the big.
Roan,
I don't remember. But anyways, I just want to say, like, look in the mirror, pal. You cheated on your wife right after she had a baby. Look in the mirror. Who are you to get on the internet and judge anybody?
And I don't think using the word that you use to say what they said, I don't think that's fair in any. There's right ways. Yeah, basically, the story is, without using any names, there was a girl who was dating a guy and had relations, we'll use that word, with the boyfriend's father, and then the boyfriend got back with the girl, and that's what the main storyline continued. And the reason why this even made it to the sports world is because it's tied to Ole Miss, because both the boy and the girl, Evan, they both go to Ole Miss. And then he was also, his Cash App or his Venmo was like blowing up. People were like, "Stay up, King, like, here you go, here's $40."
And on top of that, man, this is like typical, nowadays newer adult movie kind of stuff with this kind of theme going on. You know what I'm saying? It seems to be like the thing in the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like if you're 18 to 23, you're at a big college, an SEC school especially. I mean, everyone knows that they party really hard
Is
and
that
whatever
part of
they
the
do.
course?
Yeah, I feel like it's exactly.
Wait, getting with the dad is part of the course?
I mean, like, doing whatever you want in your personal life. Do whatever you want in your personal life. But I
Right.
mean, like, it's on brand. I mean, you're in college. It's a lot of. It's the first time a lot of people.
There's a time and a place for
No.
everything, and it's called college.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why is the dad living out his college dreams.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a wild story, and just wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of bring that up.
Maybe the dad was the victim here. I'm just saying, I don't know the story.
How do we feel about that,
know
Morgan?
that. Hey,
How do we
who
feel
knows?
about that? And again,
He
though,
coulda
this
got
is the biggest thing,
seduced.
and this is why I don't think that certain adjectives should get thrown around like that, because there's conflicting stories. Anytime there's conflicting stories, it's my biggest problem with politics. Go click on that thing I mentioned earlier with J.D. Vance and Trump and Zelensky or whatever, right? The president of Ukraine. You scroll for 5 minutes, you will see 25 posts that are pro one side, and you'll see 25 posts that are pro the other side. And it's like, all right, I can't listen to none of y'all, especially I'm not listening to any type of political media from social media, and really just that way in general. But yeah, the internet's a wild place. And the fact is how fast things can escalate. Yes. After it gets out there, if people think it's a newsworthy story, it doesn't take a big time name to make these things start popping. But once a big name does get a hold of it, now it's over and done with.
Correct. It goes really, really quickly. If you don't want something to be known, all I can say is don't post everything on TikTok. Like the lady who hooked up with this guy who's like 25, flew herself out to see him, and then he kicked her out of his house, and she got on TikTok and posted the whole story about how he did her wrong. Girl, you was over 40 with 3 kids.
So basically, you're ageist is what I'm what I'm saying here, right? Everything is if you're over 40, which I believe 2 of our panel is over. I'm pushing it. I got 6 years. I'm gonna be there.
I'm just saying, if you don't want people to know things, just not everyone has to know everything. You could keep some stuff to yourself.
Let me ask a fair question, okay? Because of the time of the year we're in.
Judge Rick.
Okay? If this was in the middle of football season, do you think this even gets any kind of traction?
1,000%.
Yes.
It's even bigger. It's even bigger.
Really? I don't
because
know
it
about
has.
that.
Because the fact that it
there's
says
nothing
Ole
going
Miss.
on right now. It's it's a dead time of the year. Baseball
It's
hasn't
even
quite
bigger.
started. There's no March Madness right now. It's a slow time, and people are looking for something to get their attention and get going.
Let's ask Miss Twitter. Miss Twitter, go ahead.
My thought there. Thank you for letting me have this time, Rick. I'm so honored to be in your presence, by the way. Gang, bang, bang.
We need to get him a gavel. We need to get him a gavel.
I think if it's football season, it gets even bigger because it's Ole Miss. But not only that, Lane Kiffin has said some weird stuff lately. No, he said some weird stuff. He shared Pop Crave or something talking about Landry, and it's like the title is Landry Kiffin stuns and
Who's
backlist
Landry Kiffin?
or his daughter or whatever.
Okay.
His daughter, but it's like Landry
or whatever. So she has.
It's his daughter.
Oh, okay.
But sorry, it's his daughter. She also goes to Ole Miss, and it's like she
Right.
stuns and backless top that ties with a string. He shared it to his Twitter account, and then like you can quote essentially, like you can
Right,
post and
there's a,
say like your own
like,
thought with a
retweet,
comment,
but you quote it,
your
yeah.
own comment, and he did like the headline verbatim, and then another photo,
was-
not even like.
Well, maybe
Landry
he was just
Kiffin
being
stun.
lazy.
That's weird. Why is my dad sharing that? First of all, no.
He's trying to get you likes.
So then,
So you can be an influencer.
there's
He's got
another
the
photo
juice.
that surfaces of him, like shortly after or before that, of him at this table, and he's surrounded by like 9 or 10 college-aged girls. No context to the photo at all, by the way. They're just at this table. Like,
Isn't
what are
his
you-
girlfriend
that's
college
weird.
age? Or like
I don't-
maybe
I don't know
graduated
if
3 or
his
4 years ago?
girlfriend's in it. I know he's like with some sorority girls. It's just
Belichickian.
really weird behavior. But because
Yeah,
it's
but at
Ole
least
Miss,
that one, like, looks normal.
Because it's Ole Miss, it still gains traction because
Yeah.
it's already got a lot of weird going over there. Hottie toddy.
Toddy, my goodness. So yeah, that's what's been going on in the world of Twitter from that's just one story.
Yeah.
That's just one story. And you did mention, well, I'm glad that you kind of divulged into the Lane Kiffin and what's been weird, because I didn't go back and search, because I was like, well, weird for Lane Kiffin could
weird.
mean a numerous amount
me out.
of different things. Well,
Should
he
have had a
needs
bunch
to-
of mustard on the table with that picture of all the girls.
and then have DJ Mustard come in and say, Mustard! All right. What else do you have coming on from the world of the Burnerverse?
Oh, there's a lot going on. I've seen. Are we doing college baseball next, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing college. Okay.
We'll find some time. I'll give you 2 minutes.
Thanks.
All
I've
right.
seen. Thanks. You're so kind to me.
Short 2 minutes.
I've seen a bunch of different stuff, mostly just some sports stuff. I've seen a lot of basketball tweets lately about, because March Madness is about to be upon
Right.
us. I've seen a bunch of
Texas A&M playing some good basketball back and forth.
I'm unwell, first of all, but I'll get there because
But we
we have
all
to do
know that.
we
We
have to
listen to
do
you.
an ag update. All right.
All right.
First of all, why are you yelling at me across the studio? Why are you yelling?
It's just the microphone that makes it feel that way.
But and it's a figure of speech. But
It's your tone.
it's like I feel personally attacked by what you're saying. You're not
I know,
actually
I know.
yelling.
I understand
Raise
that.
your
It's
hand
like
if you've
using all
ever
caps or
been
something, huh?
personally victimized by Regina George. All right,
Who?
Mean Girls
Regina-
reference. My bad.
Who's Regina
I
George?
forget.
Is she like a president or
No,
something?
don't worry about that. So, anyhoozle.
Guess what? I
They
can figure things out real quick with this
They
search it
are
up.
saying-
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Googleverse. It shows trends, it shows algorithms, all these type of things. I'm a Googleverse type of guy.
While you look that up, so they are saying obviously the biggest trend right now that
Oh,
I have
I know
been
who
seeing.
she is.
Yeah, she got hit by the bus. But
Yeah.
what I've
Well,
been
I
seeing
don't know
is
about
if
that.
you're waiting till March to watch basketball, you're sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I try to get like 4 to 6 hours a night.
I try to get at least about 6 to 7 a night.
Yeah.
I like to be asleep by 9:30, 10.
How many hours sleep a night do you go for, Bone Crusher?
1 Ambien. I'm going to probably get about 5, and take a little more Ambien. Get a few more hours.
Hey, I'm being asleep. I'm being asleep. What about you, Rick?
Like I'm getting older, so I get 7-8 hours. Also depends
7, 8?
on how many adult beverages.
Yeah, there you go. There's also other
Right.
ambience are a good way to
Keep
to
it
get to
real with the
sleep.
Afternoon Underdogs.
Hey, absolutely. KIR. So where are we at? I don't even know. It's so hard for me to like bounce back and forth. Like, oh, let's kind of keep it sports, but today we're just off the rails. So March Madness. Yeah, if you really right now where basketball is, where college basketball is, with what you have going on in the Big Ten, you've had the buzzer beaters from Michigan State, from Michigan. What's going on in Big Ten basketball? SEC basketball is a storyline in and of itself, and the games that we're getting night in and night out. ACC being down, like the fact that they might only have 3 teams: Duke, North Carolina, and who?
I think what's really
Louisville.
I think
Louisville's
what
going to get in.
really matters right now, and like why this trend keeps circulating, I'm pretty sure, is because this is like we're in our seeding era, if you will. All of these games that are being played right now matter a lot to where these teams are going to end up when they do get seeded to go into the 64 bracket. That's what we're watching for. Who's going to go where, who may possibly get a higher seed and who may get a lower seed, and then who's going to get to play who in those matchups depending on the bracket, because the bracket never changes.
And then if we see like no Kansas or was it Kentucky that we haven't seen?
No, Kansas and North Carolina haven't played in the same tournament since 1973, but North Carolina is kind of trending in the correct direction.
I hear you, but I'm just still saying, like, I like chaos. It'd be kind of cool to see something nobody's seen in like the last 50 years.
A show. I'm about it.
Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. We don't have Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward throwing at the combine, which is not a big deal. We had 3 guys not throwing last year at the combine. They're at the combine. They're doing their interviews and whatnot. They're just going to save their throws for the pro day, because really neither one, pro day nor combine, moves them up or down, especially when you're the top 2 prospects.
Oh, it can move you down if you have a bad day out there.
Yeah,
sure. But
and that's what they're preventing is them falling. They can't go up, but they can actually go down.
There's not too many instances of where someone has had such a bro. There's no defenders out there. You know, like there's really not that. I mean, you got to be bad off.
No one's touching you. Like you have full reign of your side.
I feel you, but it wouldn't be the first time somebody went out there, had a bad showing, and fell. In the draft.
Not the top 2 prospects. And I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. What I'm saying is going off of the people who are much older than me, older than you even, and the people that I've asked, has anyone lost? And again, could their memory be failing them? Sure, there's so many things we may not know. It's not documentary season as it is. And everything has a documentary.
We had a trivia question about that. Small hands make you fall.
Did Joe Burrow fall?
No.
Okay.
But it could, though, with some people.
It could.
But he was also part of, arguably the best college football team ever.
I don't even know if Joe Burrow threw at the combine, though.
He probably didn't, because he was afraid of falling.
Afraid? The guy just was led the 2019 LSU Tigers to one of the best college football seasons. Look, I know that we got the Miami Hurricanes, Nebraska Cornhuskers, the Alabama Crimson Tide have something in there to say. You can go 2013 FSU. There's a lot of top tier college football teams, but 2019 LSU is up there with all of them.
I hear you, but still, it doesn't mean that he might be afraid of falling in the drafts by going out there and having a bad showing.
Can I say that I will never, ever forget his cigar photo after winning that national championship? That went so insanely crazy.
Iconic.
It really was. And then him walking up there to get the Heisman as well. I mean, truly deserved in all the aspects. I mean, there's a guy who deserved it, especially in any season. But if you're going to have a season like that, he was the man.
So Joe Burrow did not, and yes, I hate to say that, even though Alabama that year, if Tua had a good healthy hip, or all they got to do is recover the daggum onside kick.
Whoa, it's not What If Wednesday. This is Friday.
It is. It's Flashback Friday, so I'll find a way to flash back into that. But you can't take it away from Joe. And the most impressive thing to me about 2019 LSU was how their defense was atrocious at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah.
But it got better and better and better. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire got better and better and better. And then when you talk about having Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase on the same daggum team, that's like getting your Game Shark out for PlayStation 2 back in the day and figuring out cheat codes for the game. He didn't throw at the combine, but Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, speaking of Ole Miss, keeping it topical, tying things back into sports, Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, who do you think moves up higher due to them throwing at the combine? I'm going to say Jackson Dart because
Jackson Dart. Yeah. He's had the better college career overall. I think he's got the more stable floor for both of those quarterbacks.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I guess if we're going off of achievements, it's a little like what high profile games has Jackson Dart played in? I would say you could say statistically speaking.
How many high profile games did a guy like Patrick Mahomes play in when he was at Texas Tech?
Well, he broke records actually over there. It's just, and again, that goes right back to that does fall into your point.
I think that helps a quarterback when you're going into the 100%. NFL. If you're playing on not such a great team, you don't have the greatest offensive line. Your wide receivers aren't sometimes that great. You have to throw into tighter windows. You face more adversity, so you're more ready to go into the NFL instead of these guys that haven't had no adversity. They're used to winning all the time, and then they get to the NFL like a Trevor Lawrence, and then look what happens.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Sorry.
I think there's a world where you could be a stat person, or you could stats, achievements, whatever you want to go with there, or you could be an in the moment guy. And I believe in the moment, Jalen Milroe is the pick here.
Fair enough.
Ooh.
I believe in the moment, Jalen Milroe is is the pick. Jackson Dart kind of can't step up to pressure sometimes. He's had moments where he does have that overcoming moment, and he throws a dime and you never thought it landed in anyone's hands. Yeah, absolutely correct. Every single one of those guys does. But if we're going to go scenario, I trust you on the field completely, I'm going Milroe.
Really? Okay, I'm the opposite. I think I trust Jackson Dart more. Milroe's probably got the higher ceiling in the long run, I think, because he's got more athletic ability. But, he just has to throw a ball better.
I will agree with that. I'll agree with both of your portions. I think that Milroe's the hottest ticker right now. I think Jackson Dart can move his positioning up with throwing at the combine better. And I will also say that Jackson Dart has the higher floor. Jalen Milroe has the higher ceiling. Great combination there. Great stuff here on the Afternoon Underdogs. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida. When we get back, Mo is going to break down college baseball for us in a big weekend. We'll start with the Ags update, the things that no one cares about, and then we'll dive into what matters.
Gig 'em.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 58 with a gentle breeze out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, sunshine with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, sunny with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose? Hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport. The best place in town to take a leak.
Auburn basketball is chasing another SEC championship.
10 to shoot. Chennai spins. Up with the left hand. Got it!
The Tigers open the month of madness at Kentucky.
Denver rises up for a three and baked it in! Up the right sideline for Pettiford. DeHaan, stop and pop three. Buries it!
Coverage starts Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on your home for the Auburn Sports Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida, War Eagle.
Who was hired? Who was fired? Trades, drafts, and playoffs. We're talking about it.
That trade, when it was made, was the right trade.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. It is your final segment of the week of the Afternoon Underdogs here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, or Judge Rick as he's known whenever Morgan is in the building. Morgan Hilliard also with us, and Bone Crusher doing a fine job back there making sure that we're on time and hitting us with some great bumper music and also adding great commentary as always. High school baseball from your local scoreboard. Bozeman takes down Arnold last night. They were scoreless through, I believe, 5 innings, and then Bozeman comes back to win 4-2. So a huge win for Bozeman. Has them at 6-1 on the year. Arnold at 5-2, I believe. Port St. Joe beats Bluntstown by 10, 11-1. Laurel Hill over Ponce de Leon, 15-2. Rutherford all over North Bay Haven, which will swing around the power rankings from Banji here in baseball. They beat them 14-3. Marianna over Sneeds, 10-5. Holmes shutting out Chipley, 7-0. Paxton over Malone, 11-8. Freeport shutting out West Florida Baptist 10-0. Niceville over Mosley 7-4. Gulf Breeze beating South Walton 4-3. In high school softball was Baker shutting out Rocky Bayou Christian 11-0. Destin over Mosley by 10, 11-1. North Bay Haven over Alta 15-0. Rickards over Rutherford 16-1. FSU High School over Mariana 22-6. Same score for Sneads and Malone, 22-6. Bluntstown and Bozeman played to a thriller, 16-15. Bluntstown ends the undefeated streak for Bozeman. Crestview over South Walton by 3, 9-6. Niceville beats West Florida by 5, 6-1. Cottondale also by 5 over Chipley, 5-0. Liberty over Lincoln, 16-6. And Franklin beats Weewaw 10-1. Tonight in baseball, Bozeman 5-6-1 hosting Freeport, who is 4-3. That game first pitch will be at 6:30. Arnold hosting Bay tonight at 6:30, and then South Walton hosting Mosley at 6:30. In softball, it's Port St. Joe hosting Vernon at 5 p.m., so they're already underway. LPCA hosting Bay at 5:30. Mosley hosting Leon at 6, and Arnold hosting Choctaw at 7 p.m. All right, college baseball, 8 minutes. What do you got? Start off with the Aggie update.
Aggies have really let me down this past week.
Did they lose?
Sunday and Tuesday was god-awful, unbearable.
Oh,
I almost...
We're not supposed to celebrate.
I know. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not looking at you. It was really tough gameplay to watch. It was really tough. Our defense was lacking. Our bats were not hot. They tried to stay in it. They couldn't do it. We got beat by Texas State, who is a good program. They are a good program. They have a good pitching staff. Our problem is what we tried to make up for in one area, we failed in another, and then vice versa. And we just kind of kept shooting ourselves in the foot. We couldn't get any kind of momentum. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't really do anything on either side of the field, and that was very, very frustrating to watch. I mean, I feel like we went through almost our entire pitching staff for no reason. Why we pulled Brad Rudis out, I have no idea, but we shouldn't have done it. That was actually silly, very silly on our part. Jason Kelly, what doing, fam? Please don't fail me this weekend. This weekend, starting tonight at 7 o'clock, the Ags are playing in the Astros Foundation College Classic. We're going to take on Arizona, Oklahoma State, and then we're going to take on Rice. They should all be really good matchups. Oklahoma State's having
2 of 3 losses.
Don't look at me.
Okay. 2 of 3 losses. Rick, agree?
I don't even. No one can hear you right now.
Yeah.
We're not even hearing what you're saying. We're not even hearing what you're saying.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
No.
What'd I say?
No. He can't hear you at all.
2 or 3.
Judges can't take sides.
I'm supposed to be impartial.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So what am I saying?
But at the end, I have to pick a side.
At the end, right. I'm just asking you what I said. I'm not asking you to agree nor disagree.
Okay, let me finish my statement before we let the judge pick his side.
Go ahead.
If you're the plaintiff, I'm the defense right now, and I'm arguing my defense. Thank you. Okay, so I think if we go out there and we can handle ourselves on the mound, and we can also do something with the bats, and we don't make really silly plays, on the defense side, Caden Kent, you can't miss certain plays at shortstop, bud.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great backup, but I mean, sometimes we're just too slow on others, like in the outfield on those really long balls that hit.
So when he becomes the cutoff man.
Yeah, when you're the cutoff man, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word there. When you become the cutoff man, you have to be exactly where you're needed to be. You can't be other places. And even though you're there, the person who's throwing to you in our outfield also needs to be able to get to you situationally. And there's just some moments where we haven't been all together.
Well, and furthermore, on top of that, when the shortstop or the second baseman, sometimes third baseman will be cutoff man, but the catcher lines him up. But when the shortstop or the second baseman goes out, they have to have someone lining them up too as well. So that could also be one of the factors as well.
All of these things have not been lining up. We have been off. We've been all over the place. And
first-year head coach, by the way, as well, right? Early?
Yes, early. First-year head coach.
So it's early in the season.
It's still it's early in the era, as we would like to say. But, you know, we also just got some devastating news Friday, or over the weekend as well.
Prager's out?
No, I wouldn't come on the show anymore. If it was Ryan Prager, I'd be in College Station right now. suit up. We're going into surgery. That's my baby.
Morgan shows up with a hazmat suit on. Everyone back up. I work in the field of law, but today I'm a doctor.
Surgeon. Yeah.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Facts.
But no, Gavin Grahovic, he's going to undergo shoulder surgery. I did not know.
Is that season ending?
Yeah, he's done for the season. He is done for the season.
That's a big portion.
Out.
That's a big cog in y'all's wheel.
He just had surgery on that same arm. He just had surgery on his left wrist in the off season, coming in expecting to play fully. First game against Elon in the opener, he gets hit in the wrist, and then he makes a diving tag at home plate and lands on his shoulder. I mean, whatever the problem is much deeper than landing on your shoulder bad one time. But as we know, Aggie sports are tighter than the White House and information they're willing to release to the public. So it's really hard to say what's actually going on there with Gavin, other than he's going to undergo season-ending surgery. And so we've shifted some of our infield over, but I mean, that's a big loss, especially to team morale. All I can say is I hope he pulls a Braden Montgomery and post-surgery, he sticks around and he's in the dugout just to be a hype man.
Yeah, because he was like y'all's number one player last year. Braden Montgomery was. And
then got hurt in the Super Regional, yes.
And that was huge for y'all just to have him in the dugout for
and
you
his
guys.
smile, I mean, was infectious. I think we get that.
Wait, say that again?
His smile was infectious.
But you didn't say it like that verbatim. You said his smile at me was infectious.
Did I? My bad.
I didn't hear that exactly.
I don't know. I thought I said it was infectious. My bad. I think he was really nice. I think he's a great guy. I also saw some footage of him lately, and he looks great on that ankle. He was taking some BP the other day, and he looks fantastic. Like he's up and ready to go.
Do you like it better? All right, real quick though, for the Aggies, and not even just for the Aggies, but baseball in general. We have our weekend series, we have our midweek games. Do you think that it's more? Do you enjoy the fact that you're not going to be playing the same team here for Friday, Saturday, Sunday? It's going to be 3 different teams, or would you rather see your Aggies taking on the same team for the weekend, which is the normalcy here? So it kind of breaks up the monotony a little bit.
I'm kind of impartial to this. I enjoy a weekend series as much as I enjoy a classic like this.
Gotcha.
I enjoy both because not only, I mean, you're not going to see the same pitching staff. Sometimes they'll change their starters around, let some other guys get field time. I'm all for that. And it also gives me a broader idea of what's on these other teams. Who's out there? Who are we looking at? I mean, you have last year you had Vance Honeycutt, you had Drew Beam, you've got that thug Jack Caglione. I mean, you have...
He's in the Major League Baseball level now,
But
thugging though.
All of those people went to the majors. All of those people got drafted. I mean, you have these guys kind of like football. You can see who's out there just by watching these weekend series. And I like baseball. There's more games to be played. It breaks up the monotony that it's not just one day of the week. You've got 3 to 4 days of the week to watch to watch these boys take on other teams.
And a sweep's not guaranteed. No matter the size of the school that you're playing.
It doesn't
and
matter.
So that makes it fun too.
Yeah.
And baseball is such a game where failure comes at such a high rate, success is such a low rate, that it kind of makes it interesting in that as well. And then also throughout a weekend series, you're going to learn more about that team.
And you have more time to really watch them. I mean, football, although we get 2 to 3 hours, and sometimes it's really fast paced and you can't keep up with all those people. There might be someone who sticks out in your mind, but are you going to remember them 48 hours later? Baseball's a slow game. They take their time. It's a romantic game, as I like to say. It's a very romantic game. You can romanticize it and you can really pay attention to these key players. But I'm excited for the weekend classic as well because I've seen good things from Oklahoma State. I don't think Rice has a bad team either. Arizona has kind of been on this hit or miss streak as well. They've been doing their thing. I mean, there's a lot of good teams to watch, but if we're going to watch something and it's going to continuously keep moving, I'm a fan of all of it.
Speaking of Twitter, right, and Rice, they had $1 hot dog night last night. $3, I believe, beers.
Yeah,
right?
we're crazy.
$7 tickets.
Nice.
They had 500 people.
I'll pull up.
They had 500 people. That's kind of sad, though, right? It's like, and especially with college baseball, and you bring up romance, and what's one thing that leads to romance is intimacy.
Yeah.
And when you're being able to pay those type of prices, and for a place, the guy who ever pinned the tweet was like, man, when I was growing up, it was hard to get into this place. And Rice is a well-known
Smart
baseball
kid school.
Yeah.
They're home doing homework.
This was one thing I liked about Schloss.
You do your homework at the...
I'm just saying, dude.
This is one thing I liked about Schloss, and I'll keep it really quick.
We're out. Quick. I don't have time for it. Just remember, Jesus loves you so do I. Morgan loves you guys, and she'll tell you more about this Wednesday. I'm sorry, I lost track of time. Bone Crusher always keeping us on time. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe out there.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer. College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming,
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a low of 58 with a gentle breeze out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, sunshine with temps around 66. In the afternoon and evening, sunny with a moderate breeze and a temperature near 70. Moving into Sunday, about the same with a high of 65 and sunny. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
I'm down, about to put the anchor down. Hotty toddy, who's it gonna be? Cowbells and swamp, the ag is wrong. There's nothing like the SEC. The weekend's full of surprises. From Williams Price to Death Valley. On the Fine Bomb Show, Paul's on a roll. If he don't get the best of me, call Paul. He'll make sense of it all. Neil's up on Rocky Top. The Razorbacks are hard to stop. War Eagles soaring in the wind. Tigers rocking in Missouri. Wildcats are grinning too. Boomer Sooner rolling up again. Well, Beagle's bound to hook 'em. He'll catch you if you're not looking. Watch out for the tide that's rolling in. The weekend's full of surprises. From big upsets to rivalries. On the Fire Mom Show, heads are gonna roll. If they don't get the best of me,
welcome to the weekend, and what a weekend it is going to be. The final day of February, right? There are 29 days this month. Anyway, welcome in. Glad to have you on board. We have a lot going on here over the next 4 hours. Get ready. Let's share some headlines with you. Matt Rule, making sense. What's going on here? Saying the quiet part out loud. Scheduling is headed for a serious crisis. We'll talk to Joe Rexrod, who did this story, coming up here in a few minutes. Texas is raising prices. Make the playoffs again. They got the best player, most famous player in the country coming back, and they say, you know what? Why don't we let's raise the ticket prices a little bit, maybe nobody's watching. Speaking of watching, you ready to watch Bill Belichick and company on Hard Knocks? He never did it as the coach of the Patriots. He will do it as the coach of the Tar Heels.